Let's see how much I struggle with this medieval torture device. Okay, I think. Okay, I think I figured it out. Holy shit. What the fuck? It won't go in. I feel like there's wine aficionados that are watching this like, this is so simple, why can't you figure it out? But like, wrong kind of gay here. Oh, that's cool. Okay. So we're making progress. Okay. Oh, holy crap. Whew. Oh. I thought that was gonna like pop out at my face or something. If that didn't tell you guys that I'm not typically a wine drinker, then I don't know what else to say on that. But I found a cool bottle and I wanted to have a drink for this video, so how high is it when you're considered an alcoholic? Okay, cool. Don't buy wine based off of a cool bottle. It's a fucking mistake. Now that I proved that I hate myself, welcome back to the channel. I'm Justice, and I am doing another reaction video today. I did a couple videos like this a little while ago, where I asked a whole bunch of people on Reddit what their biggest horror hot takes were, and then I reacted to them for you guys, and we're gonna do that again today. So I just think it's a lot of fun to see the difference of opinions, because I know that I have some takes that a lot of people don't fuck with, and other people have ones that I don't fuck with, but it's kind of fun to see how different it is for all us different horror fans. It just goes to show that even the worst movies people love, or the best movies people hate. But anyways, let's react to some of these takes. The Scream TV show is better than both of the last two movies. Oh boy, I don't know if I can agree with that. I am a proud defender of the Scream TV series, actually. Even if it is essentially a Pretty Little Liars with murder, that's how I always described it. But then they turned around and made Pretty Little Liars Original Sin, so that kind of, I guess, negates what I'm saying here, but it essentially is just a teen drama-fied version of Scream. That's what the Scream TV series is, and it came out when I was in high school, so obviously Teenage Justice was all about that shit, but it's not that good, you guys. I think we can all agree on that, especially that first season is such a fucking slog to get through, but that second season, it does, like, it goes places there, man. And Brittany is easily one of the best characters. Like, I know Emma is supposed to be the final girl, but Brittany is just, she's just so iconic. I love Brit so much, but to say it's better than the new ones, I don't know if I can agree with that, because Scream 5 I really did enjoy. Scream 6 a little more questionable, but I do love that we get to see more of the core four, and we get Hayden Panettiere back in this installment, and a lot of the chase sequences in that newest installment are a lot of fun, but I don't know. I liked the pivot that the franchise took with focusing on other people that were getting ghost face attacks. That was something I even liked about the TV show, that it felt like it wasn't so centralized around Sydney overall. And it's really sad that we're not getting more entries with these new characters, but I really don't think, like, I just don't think that the, I don't think.
I don't think, baby,
But
I don't think. What is that? That's ghetto. I don't think. I know.
Holy fuck, I cannot talk today. I really don't think that those last two movies are worse than the TV series. Like, I don't know. I like both, but those last two movies are way better to me anyways. Anything that's gonna be in the actual continuity to the franchise, I'm always going to take over anything else, so I'm pretty damn easy to please when it comes to that shit. The average teenager with ChatGPT and an iPhone could write and film a better movie than both Eli Roth and Rob Zombie put together. Okay, so I know a lot of people do not like Rob Zombie's movies, or Eli Roth's movies for that matter. I am here to be that defender for them and give them a little bit of the love that they actually deserve, especially with Rob Zombie's Halloween. I think that first Halloween is a really fun entry. I also have to admit that I'd never seen John Carpenter's version when I first saw the original Rob Zombie Halloween, so I could be getting blinded by nostalgia because I remember seeing that entry when I was a kid on the Sci-Fi Channel, and I just was obsessed with it, and I really, really liked it. But I don't think that his films are that bad. Even the Firefly trilogy, I don't think Three from Hell is that good, but both The Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses are admittedly really, really good slasher flicks. And then also on top of it with Eli Roth, like, have you seen Hostel? Especially that first one. Like, that movie is so freaking good and like terrifying. Like, the whole subplot of Americans getting trafficked and everything, you don't see that in horror too often, and I just think it was done to really good effect. And the gore in that one, or even both, are just so well done. And I think especially in Hostel, there is a lot of subtext written into the story that I think was very smartly handled. A lot of gay subtext where you can see the main character's friend's eyes linger on him a little bit too long constantly throughout the film. Then later on, it's pulled up to comparison to the older man that ends up killing him. That's very clearly an out gay man. I just think there's a lot of really interesting writing choices, especially in Hostel. So I know that a lot of people are not a big fan of their movies, and I don't think they're perfect by any means. I mean, Rob Zombie created Halloween 2, and Eli Roth created Thanksgiving, and I know a lot of people like Thanksgiving, but that movie just was not for me, man. But yeah, no, I strong disagree on that. I don't think they're anywhere near that bad, honestly. Seed of Chucky is the best Chucky film. Okay, so I just want to know, like, genuinely, have you seen the other Chucky movies? Because I like Seed of Chucky. Like, I am one of the few people in that cult following of that movie that thinks it's genuinely good, and I would not rank it near the bottom at all, but it also would not be near the top. It would be more so towards the middle, and like, it's just so surprising to me that like someone would like rank that as their number one, and that would be the best of Chucky movies. Like, that one like hit the bar and they were not able to get any higher with it there. Like, that's just very fascinating to me, and like, I want to pick your brain a little bit because that is like, that's an interesting take, like, very much so. Even as someone that likes that movie, I do think it strays really far away from the origins of that franchise and the horror territory, and it is just a straight up comedy. It is also has some of the strangest acting choices by a lot of the side characters, and like, I think that's part of the reason I'm saying all these negatives. I'm like, this is part of the reasons why I love it, actually, but it's still not at the top. But even like all the actors being British in Hollywood, when no, they just filmed it in Bulgaria, I believe. So it tracks, like, that tracks very much so why nobody speaks in an American accent. Or maybe because I've never been to Hollywood, everyone there is British apparently, and the more you know, right? I'm not even drunk and I almost knocked that over. Holy shit, you guys. Whew. But anyways, let's just go on to another take, I guess. Liking movies with cheap jump scares, or the jump scares carry the whole movie, like The Conjuring or Annabelle, does not make them a bad movie, and it's okay to enjoy them. Making others feel bad for enjoying a cliche horror movie is just stupid, in my opinion. I could not agree more with this. I hate seeing gatekeeping in the horror community. I think horror is this huge boiling pot of a whole bunch of different opinions, and like, all the movies too are just so different, and people love and hate them for different reasons, because some kinds of horror that I can handle, maybe you can't handle, and vice versa. And some of the things that I get out of horror personally are not things that you're going to get. And if you like a jump scare filled movie, then like, no one should make you feel bad about that. Hell, even sometimes I get down with those movies, because personally though, the Conjuring franchise isn't my favorite. Some of those jump scares, especially in the original 2 entries, are some of the most iconic that we've ever gotten. And I don't think we should be bullying people for what they do and don't like at the end of the day. Like, if someone likes a jump scare filled movie, they like a jump scare filled movie. If they like an extremely gory, brutal movie, they like a gory, brutal movie. Like, what's wrong with it? Like, let's everybody just be happy with what the fuck they like, honestly. Who the hell cares? Final Destination 5 is the best one. So back when I covered the Final Destination franchise, I said I was going to do a ranking, and then lo and behold, I was a flake and never got around to it. I know, surprising you guys if you watch the channel. But when covering those movies, I hadn't seen Bloodlines yet, and even not seeing Bloodlines yet, I would not have ranked that movie that high, honestly. In fact, if I were to do a ranking off the top of my head right now, which, mind you, this could change, this is just off the top of my head, I would probably go
Final Destination, Final Destination 2, Final Destination 5, the original Final Destination, Final Destination 3, and then Bloodlines.
Whew, that hurt my brain. I don't know if that's a shitty ranking or not, but yeah, no, I would not rank Final Destination 5 that high. Although, I will admit that the only reason that it gets ranked a little bit higher, which actually, even now that I'm saying it out loud, I might even rank it second to last and put 2 higher than 5, but I'm just not, like, I enjoy Final Destination 5, but I do think it drags a lot in a lot of moments. And if you want to hear more thorough thoughts for what I thought about that, I do have a review on my channel if you guys want to check it out. But I think it took way too long for the characters to realize what was happening in that entry, especially to get the basic knowledge of, like, death coming after you in the franchise that they would normally get within, like, I don't know, the first half hour. Whereas in this version, they really only got the answers of death coming after you and like all the details of how to get it to skip you like half an hour away from the end of the movie. It just wasn't my favorite entry. I thought it dragged a lot, and the only reason that it ranks like not like super poor to me is because the Final Destination exists, for one, but for two, also the ending is admittedly iconic. The whole prequel aspect I think was done really well, but as for it being the best movie for me, probably not, man, probably not. The first Hostel and Saw aren't that gory. They are way more intelligent films than people give them credit. I mean, I was just talking about Eli Roth a second ago, and I said that about Hostel myself. I do think that the original Hostel is far more gory than Saw, but versus its later sequel counterparts, I do think both those movies are really not that gory in comparison. I think editing specifically for Saw, at least, is why things felt so gory in the first entry, because the quick jump cuts in Saw like made you feel like you were seeing a lot more than what you actually were, and the music choices. The same could even be said for Hostel, because even that iconic, really uncomfortable like ankle splicing scene is a relatively quick one. The only reason I'd feel weary about saying that about Hostel, though, is because at the end of the day, Hostel did show a woman's eyeball hanging out of her head, but I really do agree with your point about Saw, although I do think both of them were extremely well-written movies that had a lot of hidden subtext in both of them, and the writing overall was very, very good. And I think Saw specifically, it stands out so much different than all the other entries because it's not your typical cop or procedural drama. It feels more like this like thriller horror movie, and it's like more of a like contained, intimate story with its two lead characters. And I don't know, like I get what you're saying, and I do agree with what you're getting at in my own rambled way of saying that, I suppose. Horror is supposed to make you feel gross, angry, terrified, and all the bad things. If you avoid certain types of horror or certain themes, you ain't doing it right. So this is bordering on what I was talking about a minute ago for gatekeeping, at least, and I have to strongly disagree with that because at the end of the day, you know who you are as a person. If you can't handle certain kinds of horror, who's to tell you that you like are supposed to watch it and work through that discomfort? Because we all have things that are too much for us, that are going to trigger things for us, that just makes it a downright uncomfortable and not fun experience. Like, I love horror that makes me uncomfortable, but I hate horror that's going to downright disturb me. That is a huge part of the reason why I've never even watched The Human Centipede 3, because the first Human Centipede, I am like a proud defender of that movie. I think it's genuinely good, but the second one was just way too much for me, and I have no interest in finishing that franchise, and I think that's completely okay. If you feel similar ways, then like no one should shame you for that. Like I said a minute ago, like why are we gatekeeping? People like what they don't like what they don't like, and like leave them the fuck alone. The Strangers is boring, absolutely not scary, and it 100% didn't need any sequels or prequels. Whew. Okay, so I'm gonna meet your hot take with my own hot take, but at first it's gonna be extremely cold because that first Strangers movie is so good and so iconic for a reason. It is genuinely horrifying. I remember as a kid seeing the trailer for that, and I was just immediately taken over by the whole concept of like these people breaking into your home and you have no clue why they're doing it, and their only reason is because you are home. Like the whole random act of violence to it is just such a terrifying concept to it because there was no justification, there was no reason. They just did it because they felt like it. And that's something that I think the later sequels kind of lost in a way, and they're not as scary because when you turn a story like The Strangers into a franchise, it's going to lose that mysterious fear factor to it. But here's where I was talking about my hot take coming into play, because I am like really iffy on Prey at Night. I think the visualizations in it are really gorgeous when it comes to all the music montages and like the chase scenes, but the in-between of those sequences are just really goddamn boring to me. I saw that movie in theaters and I thought it was a snore when you weren't having like all the 80s soundtrack songs getting mixed in there. But that newest Strangers, like, it's not a good movie, but like that's exactly why it's such a great movie. I just think it's so fucking funny, all the dumb choices the characters make in that throughout the whole thing, in fact. And I don't know, I really fucked with it. And I haven't seen The Strangers Chapter 2 yet, which I'm going to. Trust, I will. And I have a gut feeling I'm going to feel the same way, where like it's not going to be a good movie, but I'm going to view it as a comedy and it's not going to bother me either way. But no, I do think The Strangers is a good franchise. It didn't need sequels, but that doesn't mean that I don't like the sequels that we've gotten for it. The slasher genre is one of the worst horror genres. If the only appeal of a movie is seeing inventive new ways to kill people, it's a stupid movie. I get where you're coming from, and I don't disagree with you because, yeah, a lot of slasher movies are inherently kind of stupid, but like that's part of the dumb fun about them. And it was just like I was saying a second ago for those new Strangers movies, like all the dumb choices that lead to like the brutal and oftentimes really cool kills is like a huge reason why people go to those movies. There's just something familiar about those plots, and like when you're following them, because you know the beats that are going to happen, you essentially know who's going to live or die. You're just more or less excited to see like how they're going to go out and what inventive way they came up with to do it. A huge example of that is the Final Destination franchise. They literally just position their characters in spots to where they can kill them off in like really magnificent and over-the-top ways, and I am completely here for that, like 99% of the time, depending on the movie. So like like I get what you're saying, like yeah, they are kind of inherently stupid and like not the best written movies, but like that don't make them any less fun. Anyways, that's going to wrap up this video for me. I might end up breaking it into 2 parts, honestly, depending on how long it is, because as it stands right now, I have over an hour of footage, so I might do similarly what I did last time, where I split this into 2 different sections. But if you guys have any other hot takes, you could just throw them down in the comments. Maybe I'll react to them in the next video for you guys. And also, if you want more content in the future just like this, then I would love to have you on the channel. I cover everything and everything horror around here, and I really do love doing videos like this. I think it's really fun, like I said at the beginning, to react to everybody's different takes in the genre and just see how everybody feels about these different properties that we love or hate. I think it's really interesting to see that like sometimes like someone's opinion, though very, very unpopular, it still exists, and like at the end of the day, that's 110% okay. But anyways, I'm gonna sign off here, and this has been Justice, and I really hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care.